There's been a lot of stuff on market lately, so we have a lot to talk about. So I've prepared a summary of the latest major events for the markets in a nutshell, along with my commentary, of course. People predicted huge increases immediately after the Bitcoin halving, but many people were surprised or even disappointed because the price did not move at all. So what is it like? Will there be any increases or not? Maybe this halving is different and the situation will be completely different. I'll walk you through it in a few minutes and you'll know basically everything you need to know. In short, halving is a reduction in the reward for miners for securing the Bitcoin network. It results from the predetermined distribution of the Bitcoin. This means that it is a cyclical event that has been planned every 4 years since the very beginning of this currency. Now let's look at how the price behaved after the halving in the past. Okay, I'm switching to the Bitcoin chart on a logarithmic scale because it will show us actual percentage increases, not numerical ones. By turning on the regular scale, part of the chart flattens out and this is how Bitcoin actual increases can be seen. But coming back, let's look at the 2012 halving. Here there were increases almost immediately and the Bitcoin increased by some sick 11,000%. We move on to 2016 and right after the halving there was a period in which the price did not move in any specific direction and as you can see it lasted over 100 days. And after this there were increases of almost 3,000%. 2020 was a similar situation, 150 days without major price movements and then an increase of over 850%. Currently, we are only over a month after halving, so what do you think will happen this time? I mean, I'm not suggesting anything, but looking at these three fellas, you know, history always repeated itself. Of course, it doesn't have to happen again this time, but if the same thing happened 3 times, why should it be different now? Bitcoin shouldn't disappoint anyone because it does something it has already done several times. For now, everything is happening as it happened in the past, which does not necessarily mean that the history will repeat itself, but this halving is certainly no different from the rest. The Securities and Exchange Commission's crackdown on Ripple continues. Recently, we learned that the SEC rejected Ripple's position according to which they did not act recklessly when managing their XRP cryptocurrency. The SEC supported its decision by drawing attention to many issues including contracts for on-demand liquidity sales, claiming that there are no restrictions on these contracts, creating a risk abuse from this site. Overall, SEC does not agree with Ripple's declarations regarding the management of their cryptocurrency on many issues, and there are no signs of an agreement between the two parties on the horizon. How will this affect the XRP token? It has been known for a long time that the Ripple case will not end with an agreement with the SEC, so information of this type will certainly not have a significant impact on the price. In fact, only information about Ripple's great success or failure in court can cause a big movement, just like it happened on July 13th when it increased by as much as 100% in one day, which is just Bitcoin ETF coming to Australia. You get the joke?
All of a sudden here, we started hearing screaming.
Recently, information appeared that the Australian Stock Exchange, ASX, intends to introduce a Bitcoin ETF by the end of 2024. A Bitcoin ETF has already been officially approved in Hong Kong, and the approval of Bitcoin ETFs around the world is starting to gain momentum, which is a very positive sign for the future. This is certainly another positive piece of information that contributes to the projected growth in coming months. Currently, 10 countries have access to Bitcoin ETFs, of which the USA has as much as 83% of their entire market. Coinbase introduces Bitcoin Lightning Network. They are finally introducing the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which was one of the few larger exchanges that did not have this feature until recently. The Lightning Network is an overlay on the Bitcoin network that allows for lightning fast and, above all, cheap transfer of Bitcoin on this network. Thanks to this, for many people, Coinbase has probably become just better to choose. Summary of the FID meeting. At the beginning of May, there was FID meeting and consequently a speech by Chairman Powell regarding the condition of the US economy and decisions on interest rates. Powell's speeches have major impact on all markets, and most important information investors want to obtain is guidance on future interest rates decisions and current decisions on them. Apart from the relevant explanation of how interest rates work, we are interested in their impact on markets. So in a nutshell, raising interest rates reduces inflation and discourages people from investing in assets, while lowering them increases inflation and encourages people to invest in assets. As a result, raising interest rates strengthens the dollar. However, it negatively affects cryptocurrencies, stocks, CFDs, etc. And lowering interest rates has the opposite effect, positively affecting stocks, cryptocurrencies, etc., weakening the dollar. So the most important information we learned was Powell's statement that we should not expect interest rate increases.
And we have 3% inflation. So if the data remains the same that you're seeing, and I know you said you don't see a rate hike, but it stands to reason that you would need a rate hike to get from 3 to 2% inflation. So was there any discussion about a rate hike in today's meeting?
So we will return inflation to 2% over time, and we think our policy stance is appropriate to do that. So if we were to conclude that policy is not sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation sustainably down to 2%, then that would be what it would take for us to want to increase rates. We don't see that. We don't see evidence for that.
As a result, interest rates remain at the same 5.25 to 5.5%, so we can expect that the dollar will not have good times ahead. I have set myself a symbolic zone after breaking through, which I believe that the dollar may actually go down in some shorter term. However, the Nasdaq and S&P 500 indices are behaving as expected and are consistently growing, and the news from President Powell will certainly help them grow. I would also like to point out that the interest rates cuts are speculated to take place only in September or November, so the end of this year looks really promising for the market, and I think it is worth keeping that in mind. Euro USD. It has been constantly moving sideways since the end of 2022, but since the end of the previous year, a downward trend has been visible, a lower low, a lower high, and recently the price again broke a lower high and then dropped below the local lows. So following this logic, we can expect that the price may continue the trend and break a lower low on support, for example, and yeah, that's only my opinion about it. I think, yeah, nothing else to say, and I think that's pretty much it. We have been observing an upward trend for a long time, and it has currently reached historic peaks, so it is impossible to determine to what point it may grow. However, on the H4 interval, the price broke through resistance, came back to test it again, and rebounded from it. So I don't know, I think in a short term we can expect some further growth. There have been declines since 2021, but it rebounded and tried to break the resistance twice, and now it's trying to do it for the third time again. If this fails, some declines can be expected, so yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's moving without any clear direction, so yeah, I don't know, it's hard for me to say anything about it, pretty much. Yeah, let's take a long-term look. This is the fourth time there is an attempt to break the resistance, and this time the price can do the same thing as it did before, rebound from the resistance. Yeah. What's most interesting here, in my opinion of course, is that it broke out from the support, tested this zone from below, and bounced back. If it goes below the lows, it may continue the downward trend. And yeah, I mean, currently we are moving sideways after the decline, so my advice would be avoid trading here. After strong declines, it is testing resistance, and a continuation of declines can be expected also. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The upward trend has recently recovered and rebounded from support, and it can be expected that it will continue. Obviously, an upward trend, we cannot determine where the price will reach because it has never been this high before. In such situations, it is best to wait till the price returns to some support and only then take the position. So, very dynamic breakout from resistance. I believe that we can expect a downward rebound after such increases. Maybe there will be declines up to support before it continues to rise. Currently there is consolidation, so I would give up for right now. Alternatively, you can expect it to rebound from the resistance. It has recently broken out of resistance and is expected to continue rising. I haven't noticed any major downward movement, so unless it suddenly falls into consolidation, I think it will break the resistance. Uptrend, and recently there was a good opportunity to buy at support, and now we are heading towards resistance, and we are growing so dynamically that it looks like there is a very good chance of breaking out of the resistance. We are constantly in consolidation, and this will probably continue until interest rates change. We have rebounded from the resistance and are still falling, so it can be concluded that we will probably continue to fall for now. Even though we have fallen below resistance, we have not yet broken lower lows, and till this happens, I still believe that we are in upward trend. In a short term, declines may occur. It fell below resistance and is falling, so it may fall in a short term, but just like with BNB, until we break lower lows, I am still waiting for increases. So currently it doesn't look like anything specific to me, but we can expect that we will go somewhere in this support area and maybe there will be some kind of, I don't know, rebound. We are in consolidation, but the price has already rebounded from the support zone, so we can expect that there is a chance that the same will happen here. Let's start with gold. We've been in this zone since April, but in a short term there is a downward trend. If the price continues this way, we can expect an attempt to break the support. We see a long-term upward trend, however surprisingly we fell below the support, so we may observe a downward trend for some time if it does not break out dramatically in the near future. Here we similarly observed increases, but in April we fell below support and failed to return. However, the price has returned to resistance, but in my opinion we are still in a downward trend and the price may fall in the near future. Overall, the market situation looks pretty nice for this year. Next video in this style will be around, I don't know to be honest, but that's it for today, and yeah.